The first time she betrayed me with her boss at the company, I forgave her. The second time, she slept with my own brother. This time, I didn't just walk away. I destroyed her life. With the truth. My name is Maverick Sloan, 34 years old, living in Eugene, Oregon. I used to think I was a good husband. Worked hard. Didn't party. Always came home on time. I loved my wife. Loved her foolishly. And that foolishness turned me into a clown in my own life. Elira, my wife, was once the girl who captivated me from the moment we met. She worked in PR at a tech company. Her smile could silence a room. And me, I was just an ordinary structural engineer, working long shifts, eating cold sandwiches for lunch, coming home in clothes dusted with sawdust. We got married when I was 28, she was 25. The first 4 years were as calm as a still lake. But one day I came home early, and I found another man in my living room, sitting too close to my wife, both of them laughing like nothing was wrong. It was her boss, Nolan, a middle-aged, divorced man with a smirking gaze and hands that didn't know boundaries. I confronted them. They denied it. A week later, I found messages on Elira's phone, words laced with innuendo, emojis that needed no explanation. It felt like a punch to the chest. Elira cried. Apologized. Promised to change. I forgave her. Not for her, but because I still loved her. I thought we'd moved past it. I thought love could heal wounds. I was wrong. Because 6 months later, I discovered Elira was cheating again. This time, not with her boss, with my brother, Draven. My blood ran cold when I heard the recording from the device I'd hidden in her car. Not just words, moans, laughter, her voice whispering. Maverick will never know. I knew, and this time I didn't cry, I didn't leave, I planned. No one hurts me twice and walks away like nothing happened. She thought I'd forgive her again? Wrong. From the outside, everyone thought we were the model couple of Eugene. A 2-story craftsman house I'd fixed up myself, detail by detail, a backyard with twinkling string lights, a Bernese mountain dog named Milo. Every morning, Elira posted pictures of her latte with captions like, "Blessed." I smiled. I thought it was real. We met at a networking event. I was drawn to the confidence in her eyes. Elira was the kind of person who made you feel special, at least for the first 5 minutes. She worked in PR, was charismatic, sharp, and always knew how to work a room. Me? A structural engineer, quiet, not great with words. But Elira said I made her feel safe, a word I once considered the highest compliment. We married quickly. Less than a year after meeting, I proposed at a ski resort on Mount Hood. She cried. I trembled. I thought it was the start of a happy journey. The first year of marriage was peaceful. We picked out curtains together, adopted Milo, even talked about having kids. I worked longer hours so Elira could switch from full-time to part-time freelance. She said she wanted time to explore herself. I respected that. Then came the subtle changes. She came home later. Her phone was always face down. When I got close, she acted like I was interrupting a private moment. I didn't ask, I didn't suspect, I thought it was her new job. Stress. Eugene winters are gloomy, anyone could slip into a funk. And then came Nolan, her boss, who reeked of overpowering cologne. I'd met him at a company party, and his handshake sent a chill down my spine. He called Elira the smartest woman on the team, with a wink I never liked. But Elira told me I was jealous, and I believed her. That was my weakness. I believed. Everything shattered one afternoon when I came home earlier than usual. From that moment, I lived in a different world, one where trust was a joke, and love was a knife held to my throat. After the first betrayal, I didn't leave. I held her hand. I was that foolish. I even wondered if it was my fault. Was I too dull? Not romantic enough? We went to a marriage counselor. I sat there listening to Elira talk about feeling abandoned in our marriage. I swallowed my anger. I admitted I hadn't listened enough. Elira apologized. I forgave her. A part of me died there, but I thought if I tried harder we could save it. And while I was mending, she was sleeping with Draven, my brother, the man I'd looked up to, my childhood friend, the one who toasted at my wedding. No one can imagine what it's like to be betrayed by both your wife and your blood. But I know. And this time, I didn't stay silent. After all the pain, I still tried to hold on to trust. I thought we'd passed the darkest part. I started spending more time at home, cooking with Elira, playing with Milo, watching movies on Fridays. Elira smiled more, hugged me from behind like when we were newlyweds. I wanted to believe it was real, but something felt off. She started being gone more often. Excuses? Mom has a headache. Spa day with friends. PR team meetup. It wasn't her absence that raised my guard. It was the way she looked at me before leaving, like she was testing my reaction. One night, when I opened her car door to look for Milo's leash, I found wine, red lipstick, smudged on the passenger seat. Elira never wore that color, I was sure. She always used nude or pale pink. I said nothing. I quietly installed a mini recorder under her car seat, a 12-hour battery, enough to check after her busy evenings. 3 days later, the first recording was just radio music. But on the fourth day, Elira's voice. You drive me crazy, you know that? Man's voice. Oh? Then why do you love me? I froze. It was Draven. I'd never wanted to be wrong more than in that moment. But no, it was the voice I'd known my whole life. Every inflection, every familiar laugh. Elira, Maverick will never suspect a thing. He trusts me too much. Draven, then let him stay in the dark. He lives for illusions. I sat in the car, gripping the steering wheel until my knuckles turned white. I didn't cry, didn't smash anything, didn't scream. I just felt empty. Empty and cold. I replayed the recording. It didn't lie, didn't misunderstand. Her and my brother, the closest people to me, betrayed me like I didn't exist, like I was just a fool dragged into their long-running play. I drove to an empty lot outside town, turned off the engine and sat in the dark for 3 hours. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know who to tell. Because speaking it aloud would only make me feel more humiliated. I went home. Elira was asleep. She lay there like a little angel, hair tangled on the pillow, breathing softly. I stared at her for a long time, not out of love, but because I was memorizing the face of a liar. The next morning, I made coffee, kissed her forehead like nothing was wrong. I smiled. I asked if she got home late. She lied. Another, Mom had a headache. I nodded, poured her more coffee. I decided I wouldn't say a word. I would gather evidence, I would plan, and when I exposed everything, I'd do it in front of the world, so neither of them could run. I was no longer a husband. I was the one rewriting my own ending. From the moment I heard that recording, my emotions froze. No more anger, no more pain, just strategy. I started living a double life. By day, I was Maverick, the caring husband, the dutiful brother. I still went to family BBQs, still texted love you every morning. But behind the scenes, I turned myself into the detective of my own life. I bought 2 more recorders, one under the living room couch, one hidden in the pocket of Elira's coat by the door. I set up an anonymous email storing every audio file and photo. I hired a freelance data analyst to recover deleted messages from Elira's poorly secured iCloud backup. I also pulled footage from the doorbell camera. At least 3 times, Draven came over late at night while I was away. The pieces came together. Messages, recordings, timelines, even explicit voice messages between the two. I hate that we have to hide. I know, but if Maverick finds out I lose everything, then he can never know. Reading those lines, I just laughed. They didn't think I was smart enough, didn't think I was ruthless enough. I planned like an engineer, precise, systematic, emotionless. I quietly met with a lawyer. Thanks to the prenup Elira had signed, I could keep nearly all our assets if I could prove infidelity with solid evidence. I gave the lawyer every file. He looked at me, nodding slowly. If you want to destroy her legally, you're on the right track. I created an anonymous blog, Behind the Sloan Curtain. In it I told the story of a husband betrayed by his wife and brother. No names. But I attached evidence, processed audio clips with voices disguised, though anyone who knew them would recognize them instantly. The blog spread fast. Within a week it had over 8,000 views. Some local media folks started wondering who the story was about. One day, I passed by Elira's office. She was whispering to a coworker, her face panicked. Someone's telling a story exactly like mine, like they know everything. I poured coffee, glanced at her and smiled. Sounds intense. Is it a good story? I suggested hosting my mom's birthday party at our house, plenty of space and a projector setup. I invited the whole family, parents, relatives, old friends, and of course Draven and Elira would be there. I prepared a fake slideshow of Mom's memory photos, but in the real file, I embedded a special recording. The voice says, "You make me feel alive." Maverick's just a shell. Draven's voice. "I never thought you'd look that hot in your wedding dress." I added subtitles, edited clips, polished the audio. This wasn't just exposing them, it was narrating a tragedy in their own words. I prepared everything like someone preparing for a funeral. Not for my marriage, but for the image Elira and Draven had tried to maintain. It was a Saturday evening in early October. The air was crisp enough for guests to wear sweaters but still gather on the back porch after dinner. My house, or rather the house she was about to lose, was decked out with paper lanterns and desserts. I was careful, polite. I smiled at everyone like nothing was wrong. Elira wore a classic green dress, the kind she picked for traditional family events. Draven showed up late as usual, with an expensive bottle of wine and a lame joke. I put my arm around him, patted his back like a naive little brother. "Maverick, I admire how you keep everything together," Draven said, raising his glass. I smiled, looking straight into his eyes. "Me too, big brother. But balance is fragile. One little push." Someone interrupted. My mom called out to start the birthday video. She sat in the middle of the room, beaming. I grabbed the remote, set up the projector, and said in a warm voice, "This video's for Mom. Thank you for always believing in the truth, even when it's hard to face." Everyone clapped. The lights dimmed. The video began. The screen showed family photos. Kids, Christmases, my wedding day. But a minute in, the audio shifted. A recording started playing. "Elira, don't stop. Maverick's at the site today. Draven, I could make you forget his name." The room fell deathly silent. Chairs scraped, gasps. I stood still, watching Elira's face go pale, her hands trembling. She tried to stand, screaming, "This is fake. Everyone he hates me. He hates his brother." I calmly stepped forward, took the mic. "Don't worry, folks, I've got more clips if anyone needs them." Draven stayed silent, his face drained of color. He turned to Elira. "You said you deleted everything." My mom sobbed. My dad threw his glass to the floor. An aunt from the back shouted, "Elira, did you really do this? With your husband's brother?" She cried, screamed, tried to explain, but no one wanted to hear. I turned off the projector and walked to the yard. Some followed. A few stared at me like I'd stabbed the family in the heart. I didn't care. I was just getting started. Within 24 hours of the party, I filed for divorce with full evidence. Elira's company suspended her pay pending an ethics violation investigation. Draven's law firm called an emergency meeting because a viral blog post was tanking their reputation. I didn't need the press. I just needed the truth to spread. She begged me to stop. Emails, calls, even mutual friends stepping in. I sent one reply. Forgiveness is a privilege, you don't have it anymore. 3 weeks after that fateful birthday party, the house that was once our home stood empty. Elira moved out after receiving the divorce papers and a temporary asset freeze order. She didn't fight. Just sent one email, no subject, no greeting. Please don't destroy the rest of my life. I didn't respond. Because I didn't destroy anything. I just brought light to the darkness they'd hidden. Her company never stated why, but I knew. When the blog's video leaked, a board member, my dad's friend, called the CEO. She was asked to resign with dignity. Dignity? That word no longer applied to her. Draven's firm was shaken by a viral post accusing him of unethical, anti-family behavior, conspiring to ruin his brother's marriage. He walked into the office one morning and was asked to turn in his badge. His friends? Mostly gone. Me, I didn't celebrate. No parties. I just quietly left. Eugene. I sold the house and moved to a small town called Mariner's Edge, a 3-hour drive away. I rented a wooden cabin by a lake, where every morning I could hear water lapping instead of lies. I opened a small design shop. Sloan Timber and Steel, specializing in custom tables, chairs, kitchens, cabinets. Not rich, but peaceful. One day, a woman stopped by the shop. She wanted a long oak dining table for her new bookstore. Her name was Kay Ellen, divorced. An old cat named Spaghetti, and a smile that, after everything, made me want to believe in kindness again. We're not rushing, no eternal promises, just long conversations, brief touches. And for the first time in years, I sleep without dreaming of betrayal. Elira messaged me once more, months later. I hope you're happy. I don't expect forgiveness. I just hope you're not hurting anymore. I read it, didn't delete it, didn't reply. I'm not hurting anymore. But I have nothing left to say. I kept one thing from the past. A small axe my dad gave me as a kid. I used to bring it camping, thought I'd use it to build a dream house with Elira. Now it hangs in the corner of my shop, a reminder. You trusted the wrong people, but you survived. I'm not writing this to be called strong. I'm writing because someone reading this might be forgiving someone who doesn't deserve it. Trying to save something rotten from the inside. Listen to me. Don't save what doesn't want to be saved. Save yourself. I was betrayed. Twice. By the two closest people to me. But now, I don't live in that darkness anymore. I'm not a victim. I'm a survivor. And I'm free.